Caulfield race 1, it's an open handicap, 2400 metres. Competitive race, numbers are 5, 1, 3 and 6. I'm going with Exemplar here, who made an early move fresh and probably peaked late, and then was back and wide and had no hope against the pattern at the Valley last week. Now gets out to a staying trip, Group 3 placed at home, and I think they'll posse up closer and be hard to beat. Naval Warfare hit the line really nicely fresh at the mile, then Forget Mooney Valley, and that race dominated up front. The leader set a moderate tempo there and now gets to 2400. All his staying form last prep was terrific around group horses. Alfaris did more than enough fresh at a mile, quickly to 2400, some query, but if he's good enough to run 2.5 lengths to Steel Prince at weight for age, he can certainly win this if he's right. And Jinder, drying track against, but stays down in the weights, 5, 1, 3 and 6. Caulfield race 2, a benchmark 78, 1200 metres. Quite a few hopes here. I'm going 12, 3, 14 and 1. 12 is Dawn. I really liked the trial before the fresh run. I just held up a touch too long and chased hard out after Prime Candidate. It was heavily back to win that race and sat up on speed. That horse has subsequently run well again. This girl won second up 2 preps ago and was on the heels of a Group 1 winner in Booker at this track in a Group 3. Chess Star resumes. He's been gelded. A solid jump out winner. He thrashed a promising Reheron and a proven older sprinter in Heart Conquered when he was fresh last prep, then had excuses after that. Ruben Blur, terrific late splits behind a smart one in Sylvia's Mother in fast overall time for the class. Then just found the best lanes last time and won brilliantly. Bravo Tango resumes, big weight but a good fresh horse. And if his form around Tin Hat is also group form. 12, 3, 14 and 1. Caulfield race 3 is a mare's race. This one 1400 metres. Numbers are 4, 2, 1 and 3. It's probably down to My Pendant and Music Bay. I'm going with My Pendant. It was a top return right up the middle of the track, splitting Sylvia's Mother and Ruben Blur. The winner's smart. The third horse, of course, won again. And this girl then went to 1400 second up. She chased hard and won in good style. She was lame, her only career top 2 miss, so she's very genuine. Music Bay resumes. She's got a touch of quality. It was a nice trial. She was probably the best run in the race, fresh last prep at 1000. She's chased Smart Melody fresh and beat Allborough Class Act that day. So I think she is a logical danger. Savapinski resumes. Forget the last fresh run was luckless. Was on the heels of Osborne Bulls fresh prior to that. Was outsped in a recent jump out, but that was 800 metres. And Flying Sardine. This one makes her Australian debut. Back to 1400, some query. And her best wins have been on wet tracks, but in the mix. 4, 2, 1 and 3. Caulfield race 4, the listed Heatherly handicap, 1700 metres. I'm going 3, 13, 14 and 6. 3 Steel Prince is a ripper. He has a great will to win. He resumes here. He won a 78 grade race fresh off a similar break back in February. That was at 1800 metres. He hasn't missed the top 2 since July 2018 and he can get a soft run here on what looks a moderate tempo. Super Titus did jump out well before a good return when a clear third behind Romancer, who then won last week. And he has won second up at home, gets to 1700 and looks a danger. Benetot's flying, she keeps winning. She lost her momentum at a key stage last time, yet picked up and still ran them down. She won well prior to that off a crawling tempo. And Captain Cook's Australian debut was good. He was home 11.44 off a slow speed and he gets up in distance as well. 3, 13, 14 and 6. Caulfield race 5, a Group 3 McNeil Stakes. This one for the 3-year-olds. Set weights penalties 1200 metres. I'm going 4, 2, 3 and 5. 4 is Super Seth, created a big impression in that debut campaign. Resumes here, like the way he hit the line in a recent jump out. He looked a star on debut, then great closing speed here to win. He was home 11.48 that day, clearly the fastest of the race and amongst the best for the day. Overall time was good. Sebricate's come up a big price, gave a really good kick last time, copped Windburn from Bivouac, but that horse ran outstanding time and his last 600 was through the roof. This guy beat the others clearly, and on times and measures he would have beaten the Fillies division, Accelerates and Co. So I think he's over the odds and on speed, whereas the favourite will be at the back here. King of Hastings resumes, beat a smart one in Sizzlefly before the spell, went really nicely in a recent trial, probably went better than key rival Shotmaker here. And Pedra will easily beat Condo's Express on debut. That form's franked, and then easily beat another Spruik horse in Knock Knock at Lakeside. 4, 2, 3 and 5. Caulfield race 6, the Group 3 Heath Stakes. This one, set weights penalties 1100 metres. Going 4, 1, 5 and 3. 4 is Vega Magic, resumes, big jump out winner. Simply too wet fresh last time in, we'll forget that. Thrashed Voodoo Lad in a high rating race here, fresh prior on dry ground. He's a Group 1 horse on his day. and he's well weighted this scale. Ball of Muscle resumes, always trials well, beat Redzel, fresh last prep, won this race last year, beating Voodoo Lad, so that ties him well. He too ran fast time. Has to give 2 kilos to Vega Magic, that's the query. Malaguira resumes, a Group 1 winner, a 5-time fresh winner, and had excuses when fresh last time in the Manikato. And Gitra, look, it's not easy for him this weight scale, but he never runs poorly, and he's run well in Group 2 Eclipse Stakes in Tassie. 4, 1, 5 and 3. Looking at this quadrella at Caulfield on Saturday, I'm going to take a couple of thin legs through the quaddie and come home reasonably wide with 5 runners in the last. So first leg, one of our thin legs, just 4 and 1, 4 Vega Magic. I think it's the best for the day. Resumes, a big jump out winner, Group 1 horse on his day. He thrashed Voodoo Lad here, fresh 2 preps to go on dry ground. And Ball of Muscle also thrashed Voodoo Lad. It was actually in this race last year. He's beaten Redzel fresh, Ball of Muscle, so he is a danger. Just 4 and 1 though in that first leg. Second leg, 13, 11, 2 and 5. 13, Pippi comes off a brilliant return win. 1 untouched by 3 lengths and ran quick time. 11, Sylvia's Mother. She also has a real touch of quality. She beat a couple of subsequent winners impressively at Flemington. Spanish Whisper resumes, loved the trial, and Embrace Me beat Spanish Whisper last prep and looked terrific that day. So 13, 11, 2 and 5 in that second leg. Third leg, the Group 1 Memsey. I'm just taking the high class Elise and the Group 1 horse Scales of Justice. Elise was a terrific return winner facing the breeze a long way from home, and she won the Futurity here off a wide run last prep. Simply too good for them and is very hard to beat. If she is beaten, I think it'll be Scales of Justice, who maps better than her and was a terrific winner first up in fast time, then wide on the speed in Adelaide, beaten by a promising 3-year-old in Dallas. So just 11 and 5 in that third leg. Coming home, 18, 1, 2, 14 and 13, so pretty wide here. 18, Age of Chivalry, should have won fresh, then did win well, second up. Night's Watch resumes, has closed off well behind Avilius fresh. You could certainly win this on that run. Iconoclasm, forgive that fresh run at Flemington, 1400 suits better. Antar also comes off a forgive run, and Tribal Wisdom was in the wrong part of the track last time and has this Osborne Bulls form and has come up a big price, so might get a split in the last, hopefully. 18, 1, 2, 14 and 13. Good luck. Caulfield Race 7, the Group 3 Cochrane Stakes for the mares. Set weights penalties, 1200 metres. 13, 11, 2, 5, the numbers. I'm sticking with Pippi, who led and certainly didn't crawl up front here last time. She went about 6.5 lengths above the class average. Yet just kept running. She won by 3 lengths. She was untouched doing it and ran fast overall time. 1200's okay, and she looks the only leader here, so should get a soft lead and be hard to run down. Sylvia's Mother, she's a good class act herself. She got a bit lost fresh, then dominant winner at Flemington in slick overall time, beating 2 subsequent winners. She has 6 rating points on Pippi, and they're on level weight, so she is well weighted. Spanish Whisper resumes, good Group 3 second to Embrace Me, fresh last prep, and the jump out was terrific. And 5, Embrace Me, nice work late, fresh at 1000. It was just a bit sharp there. It was a blinding finish and a big win in a Group 3, sailing by Spanish Whisper, last prep at 1200. Big chance on that win. 13, 11, 2 and 5. Caulfield Race 8, the Group 1 1400 metre Memsey Stakes at Weight for Age. Numbers are 11, 5, 9 and 13. Elise's the class act here. She had far from an ideal run first up. She made a wide run into that fierce headwind in Sydney. It was simply too classy for them. Invincible Gem second, came out and ran well in another Group 1 last week in the Wink Stakes. She sat wide and was simply too good for them when winning the Futurity here in the autumn. Does draw awkwardly again though. Scales of Justice bolted away fresh in good time, good splits, and then wide on a hot speed. Couldn't quite hold off a promising 3-year-old in Dallas and in Adelaide. Again, they ran good time. He gets the gun run here, whereas Elise may be posted from that draw, so he is a danger. Be Good to Your Mother's an exciting horse. Led, certainly left alone. The tempo was moderate, sort of 4 lengths below average, but a good strong win and beat Haunted. Haunted's beaten a Group 1 placed dollar for dollar. So you can make a case. The Weight for Age scale is the new challenge for this horse. And fundamentalist, speaking of Weight for Age meets, Be Good to Your Mother, 7.5 kilos better at Weight for Age, and she'll be up on the speed as well. 11, 5, 9, 13. Caulfield Race 9, open handicap 1400 metres. This one I'm going 18, 1, 2 and 14. Sticking with Age of Chivalry, should have won first up for mine. Led, set a solid clip and kept running here last time. Overall figures were good. Drops down in the weights here and is still on the upward spiral. Night's Watch resumes. Trials have been excellent in Sydney. He closed off well, beaten 1.5 lengths by a horse called Avilius, fresh last prep at the mile. If he runs to that, he can certainly win. Iconoclasm, Forgive Run first up, came inside the field at Flemington, wasn't the right part of the track. He worked home well in a Group 1. Goodwood second up last prep when unsuited at 1200. This 1400 suits him much better. And Antar had little hope, fresh coming wide, a long way from home. In that race, the trifecta sat 1, 2, 3. I think it's over the odds and an improver. 18, 1, 2 and 14.